Hey, everybody. It's the She's the Owner podcast. I'm your host, Karen McCarran. Welcome to the show. Today, I'm going to chat about something that's a little bit less positive, we'll say. Um, so, it's June 23rd, 2023. And we have just realized or learned rather last night, I guess, or yesterday, that the ship or the Titan, which was taking five people down to go and look at the Titanic ship, has imploded, and there are no survivors of that accident. And I want to bring it up because I've seen a few people online making comments that are frankly just disgusting and implying that and frankly saying that just it's no big deal. Just a few more billionaires out of the world. What's the big deal? And I have a huge, obviously, that's a huge issue that people, first of all, that they would say that, right? Like, we all know that, people that are tough behind their keyboards 99% of the time would never say what they say on the keyboard online in person. And there's a guy in particular who's in a group that I follow in my local town. And he said basically, so he posted on Facebook, he posted, you know how they'll have the background where you can have like a palm tree or an orange or hearts or whatever. And he said people called him out for this, and he said, "Oh, that's my default." And like basically he just said the submarine had sunk, was like one line or whatever, just announcing that it happened, but against this heart background on Facebook with his avatar with hearts in his eyes. I realize, in the big scheme of life, that's not a big deal. But what is a big deal is the fact that somebody said to him, "Well, that's insensitive. Why are you putting, why is that? Why are you saying that in a loving way that these people died?" But then in the comments, because obviously people jumped all over him because he's a douchebag. He says a lot of shit in this group that is just he's a troll, right? He's looking for things to say that are gross, and he says a lot of gross shit, and I'm actually surprised he's still in that group. Like, I'm surprised he's not been kicked out. I guess he's not violating any technical things. But the problem, and then I saw other people saying kind of in the same vein, like, oh, no big deal, it's a billionaire, whatever. I did a live on this on my social platforms. So if you go to Love Soldier Army, you'll see it. There's a live I did this morning from the car about it. Here's my problem. Who gives a shit how much money this guy made or the people in there? There were five of them, the owner of the company and then four others. One of them was a kid. Who gives a fuck how much money any of them make? Why is that even part of the conversation is my question. And so what it says to me or shows to me is that the bigger problem isn't that this submersive machine vehicle went in and imploded. That's obviously terrible. But those people are gone, right? There's nothing we can do to bring them back. It's absolutely fucking tragic. What's also tragic is people's mindset. Like, because somehow they've justified the fact that just because these people are wealthy, it's not a big deal they died. And if that's the conditioning that we have as a society, obviously, if you're listening to this podcast, that's not your mindset. Obviously, if you're in business and you follow me on Instagram or follow me on Facebook or in my Facebook or part of my orbit, you don't think like that. But the scary part is a lot of people do. A lot of men do. It's not women who are saying this. It's men that I've seen say this. So what is that really about? Like, is your scarcity mindset so deep and so entrenched in your fucking everything, your entire being, that you actually think it's okay to make fun of or to make comments about, oh, who the fuck would spend $250,000 going on a exhibition or expedition rather? Who cares? Like, that's my question, is why is that even part of the conversation? So if that's somebody that if you know or you see or you hear somebody saying, like, ask them, if you don't want to ask, don't. I would personally, I'd be like, okay, so like, how deep is your scarcity mindset that you actually believe it's okay that these people died because they're rich and it's no big deal, or they deserved it in some way because how dare they spend 250 grand going on this trip down to the Titanic? Like that to me, there's a child and there's a mom out there whose baby fucking died. There's a wife out there whose husband passed. There's multiple wives whose husbands died. Like I saw a joke, it was on Instagram actually, and it was I can't remember the account. And it was a meme of some guy, some comedian, I can't remember his name either, whatever. I just don't even pay attention that much, but making a joke about, oh, there's 5 billion or 4 billionaire wives that are just chomping at the bit. Are you fucking kidding me right now? Like, how are you ever going to get wealthy? How are you ever going to have an abundant life? How are you ever going to have prosperity or legacy when that's your fucking attitude? That's my question. Is like, how do you think that that's going to translate into you having a good life if that's how much of a dickhole you are? Pardon the expression. I'm really pissed about this. And again, I know it's none of my listeners. Hopefully none of you feel this way, but like it's an invitation to look at how we think about money again and again and again and again. It's an invitation to think about, how do I think about money? Like why? Now, there's all this news coming up now about this ship in Greece that also capsized. There was 100 people that have died so far that they can account for. 100 were rescued, and they're missing a whole bunch. They're migrants. They were leaving one country to go to another. Nobody's saying anything less or more about those people. That's fucking tragic too. Now I understand that the other story got more press. That's not our fault. That's media. But also, what were people consuming more? The Titanic thing. So I have very strong views on the media and how bought and purchased it is. But like in that case, they're going to put out what the population, what society, what the bulk of people are consuming more of. Am I right? Right? Like if they put out 2 stories and people go to the one story, they're going to put out more of that one story. So then another invitation, like what are we consuming? So we're all obsessed about these 5 billionaires or 4 billionaires or whatever, and nobody's paying attention to the other story. So the other story gets buried. Isn't that an interesting invitation to contemplate what we're consuming? In the course that I created, I have a whole section on editing your media consumption because it's absolutely toxic and detrimental. But like no one is saying, because now it's becoming, oh, nobody paid attention to these 100, but everyone's paying attention to these the billionaires. Fuck the billionaire. Like, how come no one can understand that like all of these people were humans? All of these people lost their lives. All of these people, their money doesn't matter now. They're dead. Like, it's not a competition. But the fact remains that people's conversation and relationship with money is what is dictating a lot of this bullshit that I'm seeing online around, oh, no big deal. And, oh, there's going to be all these rich women now. Like, just sit and think about for a second that your 17-year-old or 19, I think he was 17-year-old, so excited to go and see the Titanic with his dad. And he's in this machine, all of them, knowing there's nothing. They're dead. They're gone. It's fucking hopeless. Imagine that. And then imagine being the mother or the wife to these people, sitting in her bed, crying her fucking face off because her family's gone. And talk to me about how it matters that they're billionaires. It doesn't matter. They didn't deserve it because they're rich. They worked hard for that money. They can spend their money. This is what I said on my live. They can spend their money however the F they want to. I like buying purses. I like going out for dinner. Like, I don't like going and buying ski packages, but my friends do. Like, who are you? Who are these people to dictate how people spend money? And like, again, it's an invitation to think, to ask yourself, how deeply, like, this is the worst example to me, the best example of the strongest case for why scarcity mindset will fuck you over when you're actually thinking it's no big deal that these billionaires die because they're rich. If that isn't a poster for it's time to question your mindset, I don't know what is. Like, I don't get it. So I wanted to bring it up because it's one of those things where it's like, you might see people saying stupid comments, making comments, but it's like, I want you to catch those comments and I want you to think, holy shit, that person's in scarcity times a million, because they're making jokes. They're making comments like they deserved it, like no big deal. And then and I want you to just check in with yourself. Do you think that? Do you think that? Do you think, wow, big deal, they're billionaires, whatever, it's their fault. They picked a risky trip. Oh well, fuck them. Or, and I hope to God you're not thinking that. Or are you thinking, oh my God, it's still a loss of life and that's tragic. And that poor mom and those poor wives have just lost everything. Everything. Like that. And I bet you ask any one of those people, any one of those family members who are all, are set for life financially, if they give a shit about that. And I guarantee you none of them fucking care. So if you catch somebody saying that, here's your permission to fucking clap back if you need to. And I know this is not my normal, consider their model of the world vibe, because I'm not. I'm not. Like, I am considering it in the way that I can at least say, acknowledge these people are very scarcity driven and that's sad and all that. But I'm still angry. And I felt it was important for you to be able to see this too, because this is important. This is how people are behaving. And we're wondering why there's war, and we're wondering why there's fighting and there's all this, separation and all that, because of people like this who think, you're rich, you deserve to die. Fuck you. So yeah, I mean, there's no real homework today. There's no real go away and think. But if you're feeling like one of these people who have said some disgusting things online about these poor people who've passed away, I would really invite you to check yourself, because nobody deserves that. Nobody deserves to die like that. Nobody deserves to, it's anyway you slice it. Just because they're rich didn't mean they deserve to die. Have a great weekend, and I will be back next time. Love you all. Bye.